Whistling. Kaz, the stream got split into two parts. That's why, because Eljay's
Internet.
internet went out.
Yeah, it's the Ethernet cable. The
Interwebs.
Ethernet cable's broken, so every so often it'll just completely stop. I've ordered a new one, and it'll be here like tomorrow.
Fair enough. Well, I mean, that's not too bad.
Not fun.
Not fun, sure, but at least you don't gotta wait 100 years.
This is why we need to have more than one person who is capable of hosting these live streams.
That freaking scared me. I was like, whoa!
Wasn't meant to scare you. It was meant to scare Meso.
My internet is just as flaky, dude.
No.
I went to work.
You say that as it.
Yesterday, LJ, I went to work, and yes, I'm intentionally saying this to give people a buffer to come back on the stream. I went to work and my internet was out. And 9 hours later, it was not out. I had to do, I'm not exaggerating, 4 consecutive modem restarts and a computer restart just to get it to connect to my internet.
Not a mess.
My internet is flakier than yours. My internet is a freaking Lay's potato chip. A stale Lay's potato chip. When it works, it's great. It's super stable. When it doesn't, it sucks.
I see.
Anyway, welcome back, everyone.
Yes, I was talking about how Ninjago is high budget and stuff, so it takes itself very seriously. Therefore, I don't think that they would go to episodic one and done episodes.
Yeah.
So, and then
now there is a point being made in the chat about Steven Universe, which is a comparable show apparently. I haven't seen it, so I can't attest to it how it does it. But apparently, it does kind of balance episodic, self-contained stories and also kind of developing plot episode by episode and giving like hints or an overarching story, lore, etc. Now, I can't attest to its animation quality. That would be a thing to talk about.
yeah,
I haven't heard good things
it's
about
not.
it.
It's not like Flash episodes. Like it's not like quick stuff like Teen Titans Go, but it's also not like anime, like 3D or 3D renders or anime where it's every single panel is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. So another comparison that Magic Ninja asked was, what about Red versus Blue? And that's a good comparison to make. For those who aren't aware, Red versus Blue is a machinima show. So it was actually filmed like in a video game. It was filmed in Halo. And it was a comedy show that went on for 5 seasons before starting to develop a deep storyline after that, which went on for 8 seasons. And its episodes averaged around 6 to 8 minutes. And looking back on it, that worked out pretty fine for most of its run. It told a story. It also was not episodic. And it actually did it really well on that time frame, back when it was actually good.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a comparison point to make. But again, that's a bit of a different matter for production pipelines because of the nature of the show. Yeah. Ninjago is kind of going to be doing its own thing, which is another reason why people were fearful that they would be like cutting its budget or its animation quality to compensate for this. But based on the pictures Tom Anderson posted, that's definitely not the case.
It's actually the opposite.
Yeah.
The animation has done another jump. So they're like Wu's beard has more details to it. Like the feet of the ninja have like some cracks in it. Zane has patterns on his shirt now that like you can barely see, but you have to like zoom in. His reflection on his metal is outstanding. Like that's even better than last season. So the animation has increased again, or has gotten better. We just didn't really get to see it in Teletoon because they had unfinished, ungraded stuff. So we'll look forward to that at least.
Mm-hmm.
I think to put a pin in this discussion, because I want to get to the next part of this. I want to let LJ loose, unleash his chains.
Mm-hmm.
Where I stand is, I know Hayley, you're very hopeful, right?
Oh, of course I am. I always am hopeful.
You have complete faith in the team.
Oh, I have complete faith. Because we didn't have, I don't say we didn't, but a lot of people didn't have faith the last time Ninjago made a huge decision. And that's when they made the ninjas looks all completely different from what it was. They made them look like the movie. And the fans had another war similar to this one, where they didn't think the looks worked or they were bad. They were connecting the movie with the show, which was not a good thing. But it took us a few episodes to realize this is one of the best decisions the show has ever made, because the ninja look absolutely outstanding now. They all are super individualized and it's fantastic. We don't see those people who are like, yeah, I don't like the new redesigns, but it's better. They look much better. This is a little heavier because it's now talking about episode length
The
and
story.
writing decision and story content, which we can't really judge now for the ninjas' appearances. We just got a picture, and it was either you like it or you don't. With this, you have to like watch a couple episodes to understand what beats they're doing. So we'll
Yeah,
see. But
that's you.
I have full faith in Tommy and Braggy because they aren't going to give us 10 seasons of Ninjago and then like completely wreck the content into something that isn't promising to Ninjago for the benefit of new fans. So
Well,
that's what I say. I'm very hopeful for what's coming.
here's my thing. You're very hopeful. I'm like, I can't honestly say, it's been 10 years of flawless storytelling, and now all of a sudden it might be bad. Because it kind of has been, at times, less than great, if we're being completely honest. And Ninjago is very good with its writing, but it has not had a flawless run of things. It really suffered and rebooted from rushed pacing. It had an entire filler season where nothing really happened, with right after the snakes, just to kill time till the next wave of sets. Tournament of Elements had to rush a lot of deep lore. Possession had rules that made no sense at all. Hands of Time was written by different people. March of the Oni was a rushed, 4-episode kind of thing. It has its flaws, and I'm sure this season will too. But it's always managed to still, at its core, have a commitment to balancing compelling characters, good comedy, some surprisingly emotional beats, a world that is interesting to be in, and a story that you care about and you want to follow. And a lot of that comes from, to me, the way they chose to do it, as in making it a cartoon like Teen Titans versus, an episodic cartoon like Ed, Edd n Eddy, which I know is a vastly different comparison to make, but it's all about that. Do I think Ninjago is going to abandon its consistent story? No. It has to keep it because it's the core of the theme and they have sets based off of it. Do I think it's possible they're going to walk it back a little too much? 100% I do. My greatest fear is that they're going to regress back to season 1, which was very episodic in comparison to Hunted or Sons of Garmadon. It was like Nia gets a scanner on the bounty of the villains doing something, trying to find the artifact, and the ninja have to go stop them, and usually they have to like save some civilians along the way. Either the ninja beat the villains or the villains beat the ninja, and one of them takes the thing, and then the villains get away to fight another day, and the ninja learn a valuable moral about life that applies to the stuff they did in the episode, and then they go home and they have a funny joke and they all laugh at the end and blah 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 blah. It's gonna be that again, but I got a feeling to recapture the success, they might feel like they have to roll it back. I'm hoping it's not too much because I am actually willing to grant them some slack on this. As much as it would irritate someone like me who's followed it for 10 years and watched it grow up, almost 10 years, I get why they might have to do it. Because you've mentioned, Hayley, this is them like sidestepping the Bionicle problem.
Yeah, this is their solution to pushing onward past 10 years to get over the fatigue or the confusion that could arise if new fans come in, like in like maybe year 9 of Bionicle with, what seems like thousands of characters. They have to know thousands, like so much lore. And Ninjago is trying to beat that so they can keep going for, fingers crossed, maybe another 8 years. So this is their solution, which I mean, it's smart, it's clever. We'll see.
It is very clever. The only thing I'll say is I want Ninjago to continue as much as the next guy. I want it to continue with quality. I don't necessarily want to see less than stellar Ninjago if it means it gets to last another 8 years. I would love to see good Ninjago last another 8 years. But if it does degrade, I'll lean more towards the camp of let it end gracefully rather than prolong it. But I'm willing to give this the benefit of the doubt. I think it's cool how they've positioned all this. And I definitely do not believe the Armageddon fear-mongering, this is all trash, like some people in the world. Eljay,
Yeah, we're
This
dealing
is
with
your
the present.
moment.
Let's look to the future.
This is your moment.
All right, the
Keep it-
chains.
Okay.
We'll rattle the chains. Got the key, and we're unlocking. All right, LJ, you're free.
I'm not the one who thinks this. For full disclosure, before I begin, I'd like to shout out Adrian G. Donate to the super chat $1.99 with the message.
Thank you.
I love you, LJ. Thank you,
Nice.
Adrian. I do appreciate that. I do. I don't know how to
I thought you were
respond to this.
joking.
No, that's the message.
What's the message?
I don't have it up right now, but it's
Okay, I
easy to
didn't know you
remember. But that was the message.
All right.
Well,
we all love you too, LJ.
Thank you. This next person I'm going to be talking about won't, though. So let's go ahead and get things started. So all this starts coming out. All this starts happening. And Tommy Anderson goes to Twitter. And he's... I love this tweet he made on May 1st. Here we Ninjago again. Maybe don't make presumptions, conclusions, and dismiss Ninjago because of 15 seconds of poorly edited and ungraded leaked footage. Feels like 2016 all over again. LEGO will announce what they want to announce when they are ready. He follows this up with the picture of Sensei Wu that I had on just a moment ago. Where did I put it? There it is. He says, Master Wu says, patience is a virtue, and all good things come to those who wait. Be polite in person and in tongue. Opinions are welcome, but words spoken in anger will fall upon deaf ears. You know, that's pretty fair. And so he goes on to say, as the talk about the leaked Ninjago footage starts to get technical, here's a bit of info. Networks are frequently supplied with unfinished footage during the production, so they have an idea of what they will eventually receive, but that footage is not meant for the public. Images are rendered in the mid-spectrum, so darks don't close and lights don't burn out. During the grading process, the contrasts are adjusted and the details thus get enhanced. Here's an ungraded and a graded picture of Zane. So this is the ungraded picture. Notice it's very washed out. It's kind of muted almost.
Yeah.
Here is the graded one.
Yep.
Pops. It's much more saturated. Details seem a lot clearer. Now, he does say, by the way, the image is intentionally unfocused. It's not as crisp as it could be. There's a reason for that in the show. And so he says, grading is tricky business. You have to account for the TVs that it'll be shown on. But that's a guessing game. Most people use factory settings, enhanced sharpness with dynamic range on their TVs. Others have a carefully calibrated setup, what to aim for, but we do our best. By the way, the Zane image is deliberately out of focus / distorted, can't reveal why. Pretty straightforward stuff. Pretty reasonable explanation. Just saying, hey... No, go ahead.
Yeah. No, that's just about Teletoon, because that was to calm people down from Teletoon, because the picture of Zane that we got that was ungraded was showing us that that's what the Teletoon trailer looked like. But the graded one was showing us that what it's going to look like. So that calmed down that crowd.
Yeah. So
Most of them.
I get into trouble a lot because I usually like call people out and yell at people and talk about people.
You were way worse in your youth. You've gotten a lot better.
Yeah, I know. And I don't want to like call people out with the intention of having people go after them. So be polite, be respectful, etc. But I will call someone out because they're a public figure. They're a popular Ninjago YouTuber. And as someone who has gone through this process before with Bionicle, I want to keep you accountable, buddy. We should all be keeping each other accountable for the things we say and how we say them and so on and so forth. So I'm specifically talking about David, a YouTuber by the name of David. And he does Ninjago videos, obviously. And he's been... I'll say irritating about this subject, but let's get into it. So, Tommy, he releases the tweet, like, here we Ninjago again, and Davey replies, yeah, but there's no way a TV channel would air unfinished footage. Sure, they leaked it early, but what we saw is what we're going to get. And I believe that's why the community is concerned. Obviously, this was the day before Tommy made the tweet saying, you know, these companies get this footage unfinished early to see what they're getting, so... benefit of the doubt. However, David, you've seen a movie trailer before, right? Like, you've seen almost any Marvel movie trailer, right? Like, you've seen the Endgame trailers, or the Infinity War trailers, or the Thor Ragnarok trailer, or the Spider-Man Homecoming trailer, right? Yeah, unfinished footage is aired all the time. This is a very ignorant thing to say. Next. I'm building up to something. I'm not just randomly calling him out, because I have no interaction with him basically whatsoever. It's the only interaction I have had with him recently that that's the reason I'm on this train. So let's
Follow
continue.
along with Eljay. She's setting up the verbal bowling pins.
Mm-hmm. So next he retweets Tommy posting the Sensei Wu image. And he says, yes, this image is beautiful, amazing, but it's not from the miniseries. There's no way Teletoon would put together a trailer with unfinished footage when they were gonna air it next week. This image is simply a distraction to get us to shut up about the awful miniseries animation.
I forgot about that tweet. Simply a distraction.
Full disclosure, This is when we all believed it was a miniseries and not season 11. So, benefit of the doubt. At the same time, what?
Distraction.
What? How little faith do you have in the team? So I'll leave that there.
The one point he does make that was pretty accurate is like, why would this show be coming out the next week? Because that's a very good question.
It isn't coming out the next week, I don't think.
It was not.
Well, it was.
Teletoon made a mistake.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Teletoon made a mistake, but okay.
That's all it is. The fact they were able to so quickly replace it with the reruns means it was not supposed to come out, and they were never any intention. They jumped the gun.
They might have accidentally pressed done the wrong. Okay. That makes sense. All right.
So he makes another tweet replying to someone. Somebody said, the poor animation is just for the miniseries, and the image of Wu is how Ninjago Season 11 is going to be with good animation. David replies, that's the point. Everyone is excusing cruddy animation and letting it slide when other Ninjago miniseries have the regular animation we're all accustomed to. If LEGO is going to do something, they should do it right, not half but it, and slap Ninjago on it.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, welcome to LEGO lines. Welcome to different quality standards, and welcome to a myriad of different people working on a myriad of different things that are aimed at a myriad of different people. Also, welcome to story themes. I'm glad you could be here.
Honestly, yeah.
So there's that. So he had another tweet on the 2nd of May. He said, I know that I'm in the minority after the attractive Wu pick got teased, but I don't really care, to be honest. I'm going to express my concerns and opinions because I care about Ninjago and would hate to see it turn into garbage. Simple. Fair enough. Perfectly reasonable. I'm not going to comment too heavily on this tweet because I'm building up to something still.
Bowling pins.
So next, let me see here. Where's the next one? Okay. So May 19th. This is a few days ago. He tweets, however, from the leaked, quote, unfinished, end quote, bracket, that's baloney, end bracket, Teletoon trailer, I do get this very weird vibe that the show is now going to be dumbed down and a shell of its former self. Sure, it's a trailer, but I can't help but get that vibe from it. Alright. He has a myriad of other tweets, basically condemning Season 11. He doesn't like what Teletoon is doing. He doesn't like what they did. He doesn't think it's going to be good. He's very negative about it. And you know what? Fine. That's not a problem. I've been there before. I get it. Trust me. I get it. The problem is when you make a tweet like this. And here's what I've been building up to. On May 20th, he posts, I'm expressing my opinion on the new Ninjago season, and because it's in a slightly critical manner, the community makes me out to be the overlord or something. Now, Meso, you're a critical person. Did that sound slightly critical to you, anything that I read?
It sounded... The word I would use would be completely misinterpretive. bordering on lies. But I wouldn't go so far as to say that. More like selective reading. Go on.
It's like he wants Ninjago to become bad.
I mean,
it's like I would say more like it's more that he does not trust Tommy Anderson.
Yes.
He's
Yeah,
the
he
complete
has it in
opposite
his
of
head.
me.
Now,
Complete
Yeah.
opposite.
now
The
hold on.
problem is that he does not trust anything Tommy Anderson is saying, and he has
Yeah.
his own agenda that he believes firmly to be anything that counters it is either a lie or a distraction. So go on, El.
Now I've been seeing these tweets. You know, there are some people I follow that either retweet them or like them, and it ends up in my feed. That's fine, whatever. I've been ignoring them because I didn't feel like I had anything really to add to that. He's gonna have his own opinion. That's fine. Up until the point where he plays the victim for this. Listen, buddy, you're a public figure, you have opinions. When you get called out for having those opinions, you can't sit there and go, woe is me. People are saying that I'm this bad person for having these opinions I disagree with. Own up to it. You make content, you make videos. The point of that is to be forward with your thoughts, and then if they're accurate, or if they are substantiated by things, stand by them. You can't complain that people are coming after you for your opinions, especially when they're... Well, I'll just read the tweet that I replied with. The problem is, your opinions are based on something that isn't out and that wasn't ready for viewing. You've condemned an entire season based off 90 seconds. We don't have enough information to judge it yet.
It wasn't even, you know what the real funny thing is? It wasn't you. Did you actually say 90 seconds in your tweet?
I know it's less than 90 seconds, but yes, I did.
It's a lot less than 90
Yeah, it's like
seconds.
15.
Its actual total
It's literally
boils
like
down
15.
to about 15 or 20.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. So he replies, he says, in that case, you should hold those accountable for constantly tweeting, this will be the best season in Ninjago, with that logic. But since my view of the teaser is negative and critical, everyone gets up in arms against me. So I replied, yeah, I hold them accountable. We don't know how it will be. The reason why people are up in arms against you is because what you're saying is out of ignorance and in the face of creator responses, and it's usually incredibly hyperbolic. Everyone just needs to relax. And I said I hold them accountable because I do. The problem is I don't see these tweets. I don't see anyone going out and saying, this is going to be the best season in Ninjago ever. Like, I don't see that.
I'm not saying that.
Yeah,
I
if
don't
you're
know
not
if it's gonna be
saying
the
it,
best season. You can only say this is the best season ever, either like maybe halfway through the season, if not the very end. Like halfway
Yeah.
through Sons of Garmon, you can say this is probably gonna be the best season
We
ever.
know literally nothing.
We don't know anything about this season.
yeah. So,
We saw like little tiny badly edited together footage. We don't even know what's going on. We don't even know
We
who
don't even know
the
the
villain
plot.
is.
We don't know the main villain. No nothing.
now,
We don't even know what season this is about.
I
Like, which ninja it
follow
is.
up that tweet with two others. I say, for the record, I'm not immune from this. This is absolutely something I've done in the past as well, especially regarding Bionicle. Most notably, by the way, 2009. That's not in the tweet, but I digress. That's why it's important to have perspective and just let the chips fall where they may. It's perfectly acceptable to criticize something openly and honestly. No one should ever attempt to suggest otherwise. But the product has to be complete and ready to be seen. At that point, it's fair game. Those tweets were not replied to. The tweet that was replied to was my first one, saying ending with everyone just needs to relax. To where he replies, glad to see you're tweeting out to those other people who you hold accountable. Oh, wait. And that's where you screwed up.
Oh boy.
That's where you made a mistake. So I reply with,
Mistakes were made.
I can see you aren't interested in a conversation. Fair enough. And he finally replies with, I understand the point you're making, but like I said before to someone else, the trailer is a taste of what's to come. It's a representation of the full product. With that logic, video game alphas/betas should be immune to criticism because they're not the full product. Alright, here's where you screwed up. You screwed up when you decided you wanted to make some wisecracking, smart aleck remark and not have an actual reasonable conversation about a product that isn't even out yet, that you don't have any kind of a frame of reference for, buddy. The problem,
Buddy.
the mistake you made was sitting there like some sort of entitled brat and assuming that anyone who came against you was against you simply because they thought you were an idiot. I thought you had your own perfectly valid reason for not liking what we've seen. Unfortunately, the reason you don't like what we've seen is because it's unfinished, but you have condemned it. You've condemned 30 episodes of an entire season because of an unfinished not supposed to be released trailer that amounts to maybe 20 seconds. You thought it was a wise idea to play the victim in a situation where you're giving your opinion on something you shouldn't be critiquing as heavily as you are. It's fine to give feedback. There is a difference between feedback and critique. There's a strong difference there. The reason why your alpha/beta comparison doesn't work is because alpha and betas are things that are shown to people. They have play testers to receive feedback so it can be finished. What was released isn't supposed to be a beta of anything. No feedback is supposed to be garnered for it. It is a preview to Teletoons as what's to come. We shouldn't have seen it. It was a mistake on the part of Teletoons. If we hadn't seen it, if you had only seen the Zane picture and the Woo picture, what would you be saying right now?
Best season ever! The graphics are so good!
I doubt it. I highly doubt it. You probably wouldn't be this incessant on saying, oh, it's going to be a shell of its former self. Oh, it's going to be this, it's going to be dumbed down. You wouldn't be saying that because you wouldn't have anything else to base this on. And what you're doing is you're ignoring the creators of the show. Tommy freaking Anderson saying it's not done yet. You weren't supposed to see it. Stop freaking out about it. Look, this is how it's supposed to look. This is what's supposed to be going on. But you're sitting here, you're ignoring that. You're pretending, either you're pretending he's not saying that, or you're just outright saying, I know more than you, Tommy Anderson. I know how this process works better than you, because clearly I've been a part of it more so than you, Tommy Anderson. Your mistake was sitting here thinking that your farts smell just peachy, like roses, and guess what, buddy? You're about to find yourself in a landfill full of much better opinions that are actually well-informed, and from people who have either been involved in the process of making freaking Ninjago, or people like me, who have been involved with story themes for over a decade, pal!
I'm here too. I've been involved with story themes.
You're like me, Meso. You're part of it.
Yeah! Story themes!
If you want the biggest mistake you made was deciding you didn't want to have a conversation. So you know what? We're not having a conversation. I'm not open to conversation anymore. This is just an accountability check. So when you're thinking about making another tweet or comment saying, oh man, I think Ninjago is going to be X, Y, or Z, take a moment, listen to this rant again, and maybe reevaluate the words you're going to type on Twitter. Because maybe you need to just take a moment, think about it, read what people are saying, and just wait. Exude some patience. Just be a little patient. Wait just a little bit. The season's going to be out before you know it. And mark my words, you're probably, in a few weeks, in a month, however long it's going to take, you're going to be sitting here going, that was a really great season. And I swear, I had better at some point along the line see the words, I was wrong, I apologize, next time I'm not going to be so hasty. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Nice. I love it. I did not realize you were that mad.
I'm not mad. I'm not.
I'm not mad!
Oh, you're one to talk, Meso!
No, I mean, I have some stuff to say as well.
I'm not
Hayley,
angry.
you made your point. Stop applauding.
I'm not angry.
So happy.
I'm not angry at all. Make no mistake.
Just give you a hug.
However, it has to be understood. When you're a public figure, like us, when you're making content that is opinionated, and you're putting your opinion out there, you either have to admit when you're wrong, or you have to reasonably defend your perspective and your opinion. However, all those perspectives and opinions have to be informed. They have to be backed with a reasonable perspective and understanding of what's going on. Whenever I make a comment or say something in a recap review, I have to be very clear with my wording. Have I made mistakes in them? Probably. But when I say, hey, listen, this isn't my opinion unless I tell you it's my opinion, it probably isn't. I got a comment like a week or two ago from a guy in my Tacadox review, and he's like, "LJ, why are you listing the red spikes on Tacadox as a con, as breaking up the color scheme? Why are you doing that? You're an idiot." And he was trying to claim it was my impression. I said, "Listen, I'm not bringing it up because I think that. Tacadox using the red spikes as an accent is perfect. It's wonderful. It's really well done. Tacadox is a cool set. I'm bringing it up because I looked at the video. I went back and I watched it. I even said I can see why people would see it as an issue, because they might see it as breaking up the color scheme of blue, black, and silver. However, I'm bringing it up because some people might have that opinion. I don't hold that opinion. Fun fact, everyone, I think red axles and blue pins do not degrade the set. Do I think they're bad? Do I think that they're ill-advised? Do I think they do break up the color scheme? To a degree. However, to me, they don't degrade the set. Over to someone else, they would. It would. Absolutely. But to me, I don't care. And that's why I make that distinction. So when you have an opinion, when you're stating an opinion, when you're stating your point of view, and you are making content for a large group of people about something like Ninjago, make darn sure you are absolutely confident that you are coming at it from a place of knowledge, understanding, or a perspective that is at least informed. And don't, gosh dang it, when somebody is trying to converse with you about why you might not be right on this subject, and when the conversation is civil, quaint, polite, maybe it's not a good idea to tweet, "Oh, glad to see you're going after the other people. The people I haven't seen." Go ahead, Meso.
Yes, hello. I would like to add on to this, not in as exuberant of a way, because I did not personally have the Twitter conversations. I'm actually not mad.
I'm not mad, Meso!
Yeah, okay. I would just like to say that I would say there was an additional point where it was a misstep, and it was not when, he played the victim or when he wasn't interested in having a conversation. It was when he casts this false sense of doubt onto Tommy Anderson's claims.
Yes.
Up until Tommy clarified. Up until Tommy clarified, it's fine. There was a noticeable degrade in the animation. It's presented as Ninjago content. It's aired on a TV channel. It's posted on social media. It's fair game to talk about, except for the fact that Tommy Anderson came out a day later with the truth of the matter. And when that truth of the matter has been disclosed to us, we have to take that into account. We can't ignore it. We can't say, well, this is a lie, or this is from an unreputable source. Tommy literally said this footage is unfinished, and he went a step beyond, and he actually showed evidence. He showed what the actual show will be like. And to say that's untrue, a distraction, a fabrication, blah, blah, blah. It's just not. How can you even have an argument at that point? How can you be in the public? You're just saying words that have no meaning or no kind of connotation behind them, whatsoever. And it was at that point, I believe, far earlier than his exchange with Eljay, where the mistake was made, and this issue is propagated as the weeks have gone on. Yeah. You can't have a conversation while ignoring the words of the creators. And with the alpha and the beta test thing, I think, is it fair to criticize an alpha or a beta test? Of course it is. It's put out into the public for a reason, to gather feedback. But you have to have that fact in your mind that what you're playing is not final. Otherwise, you would just be ignorant of the whole purpose of what you're doing. So the fact that you have the creator saying it's unfinished footage, you cannot treat it as final footage. Completely independent of the fact it wasn't meant for us to be shown. Even if it was, and Tommy Anderson comes out and says this is unfinished, it's actually going to look like this, you can say, well, this trailer sucked, but you cannot leverage that complaint to the actual season because the creator has changed the variables on you.
Yeah.
That's really all I got to say.
And Cartoon Network has had some pretty bad trailers for Ninjago, new Ninjago seasons. What they do is they try to find the funniest moments in the episode, cut them together so it's like, have a good time. You will laugh at this.
Yeah.
Ninjago isn't that show. Sure, they have funny moments, and they did, like, Teletoon did I would say, a decent job finding funny moments, putting them together to be like, hey, you'll have a knee slapping time watching this show. They're funny. That's not Ninjago. Sure, like I said, there's funny moments, but we saw a couple of moments, like literally like frames of them having a fun time. We didn't even see like anything like serious at all. So it might have been a bad trailer because we were expecting something like super dark and epic after March of the Oni,
but
and
it
we're
wasn't
like,
a
wait,
Lego
they're having
trailer.
fun?
It was a Teletoon
Yeah,
trailer.
it was a Teletoon trailer. That was them cutting together something that will look appealing to kids, because kids watch their stuff throughout this, in between the shows that they're watching. That was to, like, for them to see it, not for people to go to Lego to see the next trailer for the next epic adventure for Ninjago. So that's what that trailer was. They didn't have Lego didn't say what footage they're going to put into it.
Yeah.
And when you look at it, it's really not that bad. The ninja go into a hot tub because they're relaxing. Cole has a fun new hat that's like something that you would wear if you're like binge watching something and you don't want to leave the TV. And like, I think Sensei Wu will say something about that hat to Cole, and he'll say, "You're taking that a little bit too personal." So like,
Is that a personal attack or something?
Up.
Amazing.
So it's really not that bad. It's showing that we're going to start on a happier note. That's basically all what this trailer says. We saw that really cool shot of the ninja like rising over the monastery and the doors blowing open with smoke. So there's still old Ninjago in there. They just didn't show it. So I don't know what David's doing. He saw that and he's thinking this is like, Lego put this together because this is the tone of the next season. This is, it's going downhill. I'm like, no. This isn't Lego. This is Teletoon.
Well,
it's not going to be
I'll tell you
all
what
funny.
it is. I am me. I like to play devil's advocate for people on occasion.
Mm-hmm.
He's panicked. He saw the first trailer. Him and
Yeah.
many other people were discussing him. You specifically, David, if you're listening to this, because you're like, as Eljay said, you're a public figure. Put yourself out there. Ergo, it's subject to discussion, just like any other videos we make. But far and above, not the only person.
Oh yeah, I panicked a little bit too.
People were afraid when they saw this, and they made a snap decision based on not wanting something bad to happen in Ninjago. That kind of emotional response is totally fair and understandable, but you have to learn to not be so dead set. Like, when facts come out that change your perception of that, your mindset has to adapt accordingly. It's fair to criticize trailers, so long as you know and you tell yourself, the movie could be great, the show could be great, the game could be great. No better example of this in a negative way than Captain Marvel. Let's talk about that for a second. We discussed the trailers for months. The trailers were very poor. Let's be honest. The trailers for Captain Marvel were not great trailers.
Yeah.
They were very bad. And we discussed each one on its own merits, and we're like, this wasn't a good trailer. This did not hype me that up for the movie. But we always bookended it with, well, I'm still going to give it the benefit of the doubt. I'll judge the product on its own merits when we see it. It's a Marvel movie. I'm sure it'll be fine. Your mileage may vary on whether it was fine or not, but point of the matter is, you cannot judge a 2-hour-long production by a 2-minute-long trailer any more than you can judge a 6-hour or 4-hour, whatever long Ninjago season by 15 seconds of unfinished footage, ignoring the creator's tweets and saying it will doom the franchise. You just make yourself look like a fool. That's basically all it is.
The end.
Yeah, the end. You propagate panic culture, basically.
LJ, you are my hero right now. Thank you.
See,
That was
I just
awesome.
Bravo.
saw my brother from another brick in the patron chat said, by the way, he's got some fun videos. Just putting that out there. He wanted me to have David on my show, and I don't like to talk about it here very often, but I will say that's never going to happen because David isn't interested in conversation, and the point of my show is for discussion and conversation. It's to help people learn new aspects and perspectives about the hobby, the Lego hobby, and I won't get that However, comma, I definitely want to see a video somewhere. I'm joking when I say this. It's just a joke. Eljay Johnson destroys Davey in an epic rant.
that was your version of my statement to Bionicle fans. Well done.
That is a
Except
joke.
Straight up like anime scream at him.
That is a
Mine was
that
about
is-
uplifting a community, and yours was about tearing down a person.
Hey,
So
listen,
touche.
I want to clarify. First of all, that was an absolute joke. I'm being facetious. Secondly,
Yeah.
I bear no ill will toward David. He's obviously, he has some strong opinions. Having strong opinions is fine. Take this not as me trying to tear you to pieces. Take this as me trying to explain why I feel you can do better.
Yeah.
On that same note, here's a recommendation as one YouTuber to another who is involved in LEGO. Don't have photos of leaked sets with the confidential markings in your thumbnails. That's not... that is...
Just a tidbit. A little
And
tip from the
also,
old.
secondary recommendation, you might want to start being careful about the leaked minifigure conversations and having the photos of the leaked minifigures, like the ones that
Yeah.
are taken from factories.
Speaking of which,
That's being cracked
can we
down
talk
on.
about the other thing, the other big Ninjago news? Is that allowed? We can talk about that, right?
What other?
I mean,
big Ninjago news?
we have to
CP?
cap it soon, but yeah, Clutch Powers.
Clutch Powers is going to
Oh,
be in Ninjago. Talk about a left field crossover. I didn't
okay.
even watch the Clutch Powers movie. I know that he's been mentioned in Ninjago in the Royal Blacksmiths. Cole offhandedly mentioned that he was
Which
the
I
one
completely
that found the
forgot
Fang Blade
I don't
for
know.
the Blade Cup. So he's canon in Ninjago. I just never expected he would show up, which would kind of make sense. The Clutch Powers found the Fang Blade in a pyramid, a serpentine pyramid, and we're seeing pyro snakes this season, so those might be connected. Clutch Powers and the pyro snakes might have a thing. Not
the
like
desert
a thing,
certainly has
but like
that
a thing.
aesthetic.
I'm trying to get
So-
the photos up right now.
But Clutch Powers does not look as, the same, very well-groomed
Wow.
hero he
Wow.
was. He is now full-on Indiana Jones with a whip and an
It's been a
eye
few years,
patch and a
okay,
scruffy beard.
leave him alone. It's been
Well.
a few years.
Yeah,
So, about
he's
that.
probably going to be an interesting character.
Go on, Elge.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the pictures up. They're loading. I swear it. Come on, the Brick fan. I know. Come on, hurry up, please. Gosh, it's loading so slowly.
Use your words.
Don't.
I'm trying to get the photos so I can. His eye patch is fake. Okay, he's got an eye patch. The eye patch is
Yes.
fake. His eye is fine. Thank you, Meso. This
Yeah.
is driving me absolutely bonkers.
So either he is going, his character is going to deal with that, or I think Magic Ninja mentioned this a while back in the Ninjago chat, where pirates would wear an eye patch in order to help transition from light to day or like shadow to brightness very easily. So he could just be also very well educated in his field. So it's either one of those two.
Fair enough.
But
It's
Clutch
a very cool crossover.
Yes. I hope he has a big role in this season. I hope Cole also has a big nerd moment. He's been hinted at being like a museum kind of dork. He was the actually knew Clutch Powers, or he knew of him. So
That could be a
it'd be
cool
really
little bit
cool
of
where
character.
he'd be like, "Wait, you're actually Clutch Powers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd be
you're
down for
the
that.
Clutch Powers."
I do hope he
Yeah.
shows up. It has been mentioned
Yeah.
that Clutch Powers is showing up for the first time as a minifigure for starters in set number 40342 Ninjago minifigure pack, and it has been noted there are occasionally non-canon designs in the minifigure packs, so we'll have to take this with a
Okay.
grain of salt as to whether or not he shows up in the series. However, this is kind of cool. We should absolutely watch Clutch Powers again. I think that'd be fascinating.
100%. I've never seen
I
it.
need to see that. I need to see that.
I saw it a long
ready.
time
It's
ago.
interesting because apparently I saw this somewhere. I don't remember who mentioned that the character that kills Clutch Power's dad, the name is Omega,
Dun dun
and
dun.
Omega is also Yeah, I guess Dark Takanuva mentioned that Omega is also the same name as the head Oni. I don't know if we get a face for Omega in the movie, so
Yep.
that could be cool. But yeah,
There are two more minor things I'd like to mention before the episode ends. Number one, I forgot earlier during our discussion of the new season and its pacing that we actually do have full episode descriptions for the first four, thanks to Toon Barn. Went back to look at them, and it kind of shed some light on the whole episodic or not pacing discussion. I'll read them out really quickly. First episode was True Potential Wasted. In the wake of the previous season's victory, the ninja have gone soft, and Master Wu must remind them of who they truly are. Episode 2 is Questing for Quests. Realizing they've gone soft, the ninja search for a quest to reignite their spinjitzu training. Episode 3, A Rocky Start. The ninja have found their quest. Now they just have to get there, which involves a road trip through the Desert of Doom, a region supposedly inhabited by a giant scarab beetle. And episode 4, The Belly of the Beast. To repair the land bounty, the ninja must retrieve a critical engine component that has been swallowed by a giant scarab beetle. So I think that pretty much tells us how things are going to go, at least to start. It's not episodic so much as it is very drawn out with not a lot happening.
Yeah.
4 episodes in, and they're on the way to where they're going, and they have to make a pit stop to fight a scarab beetle because it ate their engine, which is kind of episodic in nature. It's it's the kind of zany things that could happen along the way.
Yeah.
It's like a One Piece filler arc, kind of, which is fine, so long as it picks up after that.
Yeah,
We'll
it
see.
also sounds like it's part 1, part 2 episodes. The first 2 episodes are kind of the same thing. Next 2 episodes are kind of the same thing.
Yeah,
So
it's probably going to be glorified two-parters punctuated by cliffhangers,
probably.
which at that
I mean,
point,
we're still dealing with deep lore with Ninjago, so it's going to be drawn out, but there's still going to be stuff that is old Ninjago, Forbidden
100%.
Spinjitzu, Serpentine again. So we'll see.
All right, and the next one, you posted an article.
Yes, this article is recent. It's from the Brick Fan on Twitter.
Yeah, technically, it was posted on the Lego Ambassador Network blog.
Yes.
Wait a second. We might have talked
public.
about this. Well, no, I'm saying we might have just talked about this. This is what I was talking about. But
Nope.
Let me see.
This is about Legacy.
On the blog?
Yep, the Legacy of Lego Ninjago. It's a set design article.
Fair enough. The
Yeah,
blog
so it's
is
about the wave. Yeah, it's about the wave of Legacy that came out, I think, a wave ago, or this most recent wave, Ninjago Legacy. And the quote is from a interview with Tommy, both Andreessen and Kalmar, and then Michael Knapp. I don't know what the middle name is, but they're talking about Legacy sets and if there's any in the coming in the future. And the quote Tommy Andreessen says is, "We hope to have more launches. We could do."
Tommy Anderson.
That's not Tommy Anderson.
Nope.
Oh,
The actual context to the article is Tommy Anderson was joking with them and said, "I'm just going to come out and say it. You guys have run out of ideas. Now you're just repeating themselves." And then they talk about just repeating yourselves, and they talk about the merits of the Ninjago Legacy sets and how they're updated versions of some of the first sets, taking the great ideas, making them even better, etc. They discuss, why they went that route and how some of the sets evolved over time. Then at the end, I believe it's Tommy Kalmar says, "We hope to have more launches. We could do ideas from the TV show which never made it into products. There's so many things from the Ninjago universe." And then Michael adds, "I have more locations on my list as well, which could be interesting. There's still golden opportunities from the epic final battle to explore and beef up." So to me, that's confirmation, not that we're getting more Ninjago Legacy, but that they want to do more.
yes.
And if they have the ideas to make it a reality, then I guarantee we'll probably see some form in the future. And what I'm curious about is Final Battle. If they're referring to the Oni, don't really see how they can make that work, because they already made the Monastery set. But if they're referring to the other Final Battle, give me my Overlord Dragon Lego. I've waited almost 7 years.
So at least they have the idea that they want to make more legacy sets, which I'm totally on board with. Especially like locations. They mentioned that there's locations they want to do. Oh my gosh, please. Gimme.
Mm-hmm.
Build the Ninjago sets. I'd love to see, updated I don't
Where's my Borg Tower?
I know,
Dareth's
Borg
Dojo, Snake
Tower.
Train, Overlord Dragon.
See, I
want everything.
definitely agree with Prentice in the Patreon chat. Can we get a Dareth Dojo set that is not a polybag?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Bring it.
It was the training ground for season 2, so it's worth it.
The Dareth minifigure has to have the correct face. There are like 3 Dareth minifigures. 2 of them use the incorrect face. Only one of them in the polybag uses the right one.
Feels bad.
Has to
Feels
use
bad.
Okay. It's very interesting. It's a very good read. Definitely go check it out. Hopefully we'll be able to actually provide you all with more current information as it comes out, as we are allowed once we are done going through the ambassadorship process. So that'll be exciting.
And the trailer will come out on Sunday, April 26th, the first teaser. We don't know what that would entail, if we're even going to get a date or what we're going to get from that trailer. It is the Lego. This is like a Lego thing, though. Lego's releasing this, not like Cartoon Network or anyone else. So
the other big thing that signifies how major of a switch this is people were like, isn't every year Ninjago a soft reboot? Haven't they done this before? There's never been a big enough change to necessitate an official blog post sent out by LEGO to community hub sites. Never in the history of Ninjago has there been anything like that.
They might have done that because of Teletoon, honestly.
Maybe, but even so, there's never been like
just
this
to
kind
calm
of
down
outreach.
people.
It
if
definitely
the thing
was
with
not.
Teletoon didn't happen, then we might not have gotten that blog thing. We would have just gotten maybe a thing, like a teaser. But this Teletoon thing was pretty big. It was a big mess up on.
If the change is as big as they're insinuating it will be, with new forms of storytelling, less structured to TV, a larger amount of episodes, the beginning of a new chapter, a soft reboot, I think that's more than enough reason. Prentice asks, why else mention it's not a reboot? I would say to calm down people and to get their expectations in check accordingly. You could say that's a result of Teletoon, to be sure, but it's very similar to how people at the Bionicle panel were like, it's not a continuation. It is a reboot. Whether that was 100% true or not, in recent years we've learned not so much. But the reason they said it at the time was because they wanted everyone on the same page. They wanted everyone to have an expectation going in the end of what it was going to be. This is a continuation with reboot theming versus Bionicle, which was a reboot with continuation theming. If that makes any sense. Hopefully people get what I mean by that. So,
yeah.
Whatevs.
Sure. This is a big time in Ninjago.
Long enough.
Either this is going to crash and burn, or this is going to be a huge success. So
one can
I
dream.
hope it doesn't crash and burn, because Ninjago has come so far.
I would love it if it gets canceled like a year before it surpasses Bionicle.
No.
I'll tell you right now, Hayley. Last time I remember LEGO sending out an email blast to a bunch of fan websites was when they canceled Bionicle in 2009.
They're not canceling Ninjago.
Just saying. The last
They're
time
not going to cancel Ninjago.
If this wave bombs, who knows?
Who knows?
If this bombs, then maybe. But yeah, if season 11 is the worst Ninjago season ever, yeah, maybe. They have to reconsider their planning on what they're going to be doing, or continuation. But I think the inclusion, or the possible inclusion of Clutch Powers, is going to help out. The Serpentine might not help, but the other zombie ice people could. Animation wise, it's going to be even better, so that could help.
Ninjago can end. I, for one, welcome the return of my Chima overlords.
Okay, we're gonna go wrap things up.
No.
All right. Do you guys have anything else?
I think we should
Long
end.
live Ninjago.
Long live
I'm
Shiva.
with it. I'm with it till the end.
I'm with you till the end of the law.
So
All right.
patience, 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 patience. Trust the creators. They know more than you, and they've treated us so well for 8 years. So don't give up on them now.
Feel free to criticize the work they put out when it's
Yes.
out to criticize.
Don't give up. A ninja never quits, so a Ninjago fan shouldn't either. There
Thank
we
you
go.
for the platitudes.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and wrap things up. So, hopefully, you all enjoyed this episode of NinjagoCast. We don't know when we'll be back. Presumably soon. However, I
Depending
can't.
on how substantive the trailer is.
Yeah, it's really gonna depend. Otherwise, we'll probably be back sometime in June. If I had to hazard any guesses. Until then, we'll have Brickfeed and the TTV podcast, hopefully, or the TTV podcast sometime this weekend, and continuing throughout the year. So,
There you go.
that about does it. Thank you all so very much for listening. Hopefully you've had a good time. Remember, there's a TTV Patreon, but it's there. It's there. You can be a part. Low as $1 a month, price of a pencil, or a really, really cheap Ninjago minifigure. You can join us for the live recordings. All right, that's it. The dojo is closing. I've been your third wheel, Eljay.
I have been Meso.
And I've been Hayley.
And we're done riding this bicycle. It's time to go inside, relax, have some dinner, watch some Ninjago. Thank you all so very much for listening.
We're not doing that.
We're off Ninjago.
We're not doing that.
The dojo is closed. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Eljay spreads lies.
I do not spread lies.